Alright guys, welcome to our next video. We are going to still be continuing talking about box plots. So today we're going to look at interpreting box plots. So again, remember a box plot, we have 5 number summary that we've talked about. And with that being said, we had a couple things that we want to identify on this 5 number summary. So let's go ahead and review that information. So we had our minimum. We had our maximum, then we had our median, which is always this line in the box, and then we had quartile 1, and we also had quartile 3. So these colors might have been different from the previous video, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and look at that. Okay, so as soon as you see a box plot, that's the first thing we want you guys to do because you're probably going to have questions based on that information. So this box plot was created on these numbers. So remember when we have our data, we're going to put our numbers or our data in order from least to greatest. Okay? Then what we did is we crossed off our lowest and our highest, 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 lowest and highest, and back and forth, lowest and highest. So when we've done that, we see that this 85 is the middle number. That's the median. Okay? And we know that this is the middle number because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers are to the left, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers are to the right. So that number is the true middle number. That's the median number of my set of data. Remember, if there were 2 middle numbers, then we would find the average, so we would add those 2 up and then divide by 2, and that would be that true middle number. Then we have our minimum right here when ordered from least to greatest, and we have our maximum is our highest number. Okay? Then for quartile 1, that means we want the median of the lower numbers. So lowest, now my highest is 85, lowest, highest. So here, right here, we have 2 middle numbers. There's 2 numbers to the left and 2 numbers to the right of that median. So we're going to cover that median up. We're not going to count it. So in between 74 and 78, it's 76. Okay, so we could add those 2 up. So we could say 74 plus 78 divided by 2, or you can think 2 steps from 74 is 76, 78 minus 2, 2 steps away is 76. So that's something to think about. Then quartile 3, so we're just kind of reviewing how they got these numbers. Quartile 3 is going to be the upper quartile, or the median of those higher numbers. So now 88 is my lowest, 100 is my highest. 88, 92. So now we have 2 middle numbers. So what's right in the middle of 90 and 92 is 91. Again, you could add those up and then divide by 2. And we're going to have that 91. Oh, I used the wrong color. We wanted quartile 3 to be green. Change that for us. Okay? So this is just what those numbers represented. So now what we're going to look at is how we can represent these in fractions and percents. So it says Riley surveyed 32 people about how many pets they have. He displayed the data with the box plot. Okay? So this was an example separate from this one. Okay? So we could see right here our max was 100, quartile 3 is 91, 85 is our median, quartile 1 is 76, and our minimum is 68. Just a refresher for you. So in this situation, they do not give me the list of the 32 numbers, but there's important data that we know. We know that our minimum right here is 1. We know that our maximum right here is 6. And we know that the median right here is 3. And then we have quartile 1, right there is 2 at the beginning of that box, and quartile 3 is 4. Okay? So if we think about it, your total data points, okay? So your total data points is how many people were surveyed, okay? So our total data points is 32. Now remember, each quartile is worth 25%. Okay, so let's think about it. If each quartile is worth 25%, so from here to here is 25%, here to here is 25%, and that makes sense because 25 plus 25 is 50. So in the middle, 50% of your data, 25%, 25%. So let's think. The data points that are going to be in each of these groups, well, there's 32 total people that were surveyed, and we divide by 4 because there's 4 sections. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Okay? There's 4 quartiles total. So that means that there's 8 numbers in this group, 8 numbers in this group, 8 numbers in this group, 8 numbers in this group. So I'm going to do like a light purple. I'm going to say 8, 8, 8, and 8, and each one is worth 25% of the data. Okay, so we don't need to know all of the 8 numbers that are in there, but we can see that that would be how many are in each group. So how many people had 2 or more pets? Well, let's think about it. Here's 2 or more, so between here is 8, plus another 8, plus another 8, so 8 times 3 is 24. Okay? Because between 2 and 3 pets, we're 8 people. Let me make that a little darker, guys. Sorry about that. That works a little bit better. All right, so we're going to use this as a scale. So from 1 to 2 pets, you can see right there is 1 quartile. It's from the minimum to quartile 1. So that's 8 out of 32 people. Or we can reduce that. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 32 divided by 8 is 4. And hopefully you know that 1/4 right there, we can see that's my percent, is 25%. 1/4 of $1 is 25 cents, or 25% of that 100%. Okay? So now we want to look from 1 to 3 pets. So from 1 to 3, we have 25% plus another 25%, or 8 people plus 8 people. So that's 16 out of 32. Or we can reduce to 1/2, and that makes sense because from 1 to 3, look right there. They tell you the percents. That's 50%. That's half of our data. Okay, 16 is half of 32. All right, what about from 1 to 5 pets? Okay, actually, let's make this 1 to 6. That was a typo. Change that to 1 to 6. So from 1 to 6 pets, well, 1 was my minimum, 6 was my maximum. That covers everybody. That's 100%. And if there's 8 people in each section, that's actually 32 out of all 32 people, or 1 whole. Okay? What about 4 or less pets? So let's 4 or less, that's 8, 8, 8, or 8 times 3 is 24 out of 32. Or we can reduce. Let's see, they can both be reduced by 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 32 divided by 8 is 4. And that makes sense because, look, 4 or less, 25% plus 25% plus 25% is 75%. 3/4 of $1, or 3 out of 4, is 75%. Well, did anybody have 0 pets? Yes, 0 looks like it's on our graph, but there's no data above it. So that means at least everybody had at least 1 pet. So 0 is not my minimum because this little graph doesn't go out to there. So 0 people surveyed out of 32 had 0 pets. That's 0%. 7 pets. Well, maximum was 7. I'm sorry, it was not 7, was 6. So 0 people had 7 pets of these 32 that were surveyed. So you're basically just looking at your data and going from there. So 2 to 4 pets. From 2 to 4, that's that box right there. 8 plus another 8 is 16 out of 32. 16 out of 32 we can reduce to 1/2. 16 divided by 16 is 1. 32 divided by 16 is 2. And another way we know that this is 50% is check it out. So if you cover these up when you're drawing these, it's really going to help you see this. Okay, so each one of these sections is worth 25%. Then 2 or more pets, we have 8 8 and 8. 8 times 3 is 24 out of the 32. Or you can reduce. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 32 divided by 8 is 4. And even if you didn't know that, you have 25%, 25%, and another 25%, 75%. Okay? So when we're interpreting these box plots, it's really important for you guys to make sure that you know how much each section it is. So what you're going to do is however many people that were surveyed right here, that's our total people. And even though we don't have all 32 numbers of how many people had how many pets, we know that in each quartile, so we're going to divide by 4 because that's how many quartiles there were, 4 equal sections. So this is how many people would be in each group, okay? That way we can answer the questions just like this. All right, so good luck on your assignment, and as always, make sure you reach out to your teacher if you need help.